It's almost disrespectful to say it, but there's something about the '83 White Sox.
The assemblage of talent here in Chicago, matches any team that I've ever played on.
And Einhorn picks up his 20th victory of the season.
It was very special. I mean, I never had that feeling again. I was fortunate enough to play in the World Series in 1990 with Oakland A's, but when we won in '83, it was very special.
This scores 2-0 White Sox. With his third complete game of the year. Here comes Cruz, and the Golden Ray!
When Jerry Reinsdorf and Eddie Einhorn bought the ball club, first move they made was to sign Carlton Fisk as a free agent, and then the negotiations took about 3 or 4 weeks, and a couple of weeks into spring training, finally got him signed.
The signing of Carlton Fisk changed the attitude of Chicago towards the White Sox. I mean, this team was the Rodney Dangerfield of baseball. It got no respect. And when a player of Carlton Fisk's caliber decided he was going to come to the White Sox, it sent a message to people that we were for real and we really wanted to win. It was the dawning of a new era. And Carlton Fisk turned out to be that rare kind of player who plays hard because of pride. And he really and truly, more than any player I think that we've had here, is the symbol of what we tried to do, the symbol of a new era.
That was a key component of our club for years to come. Literally, we realized that Pudge would play that long, 12 years here in Chicago after coming from the Boston Red Sox. And then the signing, the purchase of the contract of Greg Lazinski within the week after Fisk had signed. That added a great stature to our club, and it showed our fans also that our new owners were very willing to go out and try to do the best they possibly can to bring a winner.
It was really something that we were looking forward to, knowing that we had a chance to win right now. And the '81 season, which had the long strike, was the year that we thought we had a chance that year.
It all evolved in 1983. The maturity of some of our young pitchers, Lamar Hoyt, Richard Dotson, Britt Burns, added to the veteran players that we had. We signed Floyd Bannister as a free agent. Ron Kittle came up from Edmonton in the Pacific Coast League. Greg Walker also made the ball club, coming in from AAA. So those were key additions at that time. We had acquired Tom Paciorek the year before from Seattle, and he fitted in real well. So we had a blend.
We had speed in the infield. We stole a lot of bases.
We had power, we had defense, real fine pitching, and a great manager and a very fine coaching staff.
And when you have a Hall of Famer catching like Carlton Fisk, you should have a contending team, and we did.
Little blooper, Kittle. Short trying, can't get there. Kittle misplays the ball, gets by Baines. Both runs are going to score. White on his way to third.
We didn't really get off to a good start, as everybody knows, but it's a long season. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Sometimes it takes a while for things to come together. That's why you play 162 of them at the big league level.
I came over here and they had high hopes and high expectations for me to do well, and I was pressing. I was trying as hard as I could to be the type player that they expected me to be, and I struggled, to be honest with you, and the team struggled. And I think everybody tried to maybe do too much, try too hard. Consequently, we got off to a slow start.
We were started out the season having trouble catching the baseball, but I knew these guys were good enough to catch it. But all you can do when a team is struggling catching the baseball is you just keep working with them and try to get their confidence up. I kept telling them, I said, we're going to catch the ball sooner or later. I'd like to say tomorrow. It may not be tomorrow, but sooner or later we're going to start catching it and we're going to be fine.
Pop up out short, and good catch by Debzinski.
There's things that work and things that don't work. And if you don't play good baseball, they don't work. And I think a lot of times people try to assert themselves individually, maybe just a little bit outside the team context, and as a result, the team flops. And I mean flopping like a flat tire, flopping.
Down the line, and again, big out into the corner. Henderson running it down.
And when we all kind of recognize that, we can't do it by yourself. We can't do it for anybody else. So if you do it within the team concept of fundamentals, everything from cutoffs to moving guys over to making your pitches, all the preparation that goes into being a good team, everybody realized what it took and realized what they had to do. And, as a result, we turned out to be really good.
Well, I remember a conversation me and Richard Dotson had. We'd played Milwaukee the last series before the All-Star break. I'd pitched the last game, and I remember I lost the game. I think it was either 3-2 or 2-1 to the Brewers. And we'd come back across the bridge, and I was real aggravated because I was 10-10 at the time. I turned around to Dot, and I said, well, Dot, I don't know about you. I'm not losing another game the rest of this year. He said, well, let's go for it. I said, seriously? He said, yeah. I said, let's do. I said, let's just go out, set the pace, and see what happens. And when we come out, it was an entirely different year in the second half of that season.
I just remember personally coming out after the All-Star break and throwing a shutout against Cleveland, and I was on my way. My confidence got better. The team was patting each other on the back. Good things were going to happen. You could just tell that we were still in the race. We still had a chance to go out there and compete and put a good team on the field.
And when you have pitching and we're playing good defense and the guys are scoring, hitting home runs all over the place, and you just had a great feeling. You knew it was there. The charisma was there. The pride was there. So you weren't going to stop us.
After the All-Star break, that's when it really became noted that, hey, we went to the ballpark. We knew we were going to win. We just knew we were going to win. We didn't know how, but we knew we were going to win, and we did most of the time.
Everybody can sort of have a good game, but every day we knew no matter if the last out wasn't made, we had a chance to win, and that was just an incredible feeling.
The last half of the season, I don't think we lost a series with another team. We were on some unbelievable roll there where we were winning every series. And, Charlie Lau said, just win 2 out of 3. No one's going to catch you. Keep winning 2 out of 3. And he was right. We went right on from there. We won by 20 games. We could have had a cruise.
I remember at one point we had won 17 consecutive home games, which is very, very tough to do because it's winning series after series against pretty good opponents. And I remember the day that we lost, we sat there in disbelief. We couldn't believe that somebody was good enough to beat us in that day, and that's a great feeling. And that's the way you want to feel when you're playing baseball.
The 1983 White Sox were, without a doubt, the club with the best chemistry I have ever seen. Prior to that or since then. I mean, it was something special to be a part of.
There were some superstars on the team, there were some young players, some rookies, and there were some guys that were some seasoned veterans. But I think in general, just a good chemistry, a good mix.
We had old guys that had been there, and then we had, young guys like me, and it's just, and the old guys would, they'd talk to you.
You get guys that are different backgrounds and things like that, but when you come to the ballpark, you're playing as a team and pulling for one another, and I think that's what made it so special.
It obviously starts at the top. Jerry Reinsdorf and Eddie Einhorn, they had a real belief and a common goal, and they put the pieces of the puzzle in place and let Tony run the club the way he wanted to, showed faith in what he was doing even though we struggled at the start of the year.
I think Tony La Russa was a big inspiration to us because the way he managed, the type of person he was, didn't take any stuff from anybody on the team. He was just a great manager, and what he did was he brought everybody together, whether we were winning or losing.
He was big on, when we were on the road, getting everybody together and having a party and just stay together and spend time together, and it just carried over into the clubhouse. And we always had a good time in the clubhouse. We were there to do a job, and we knew it, but we knew how to relax and have a good time before we went between the lines.
One of the unique things we had that year is we had a kangaroo court. And so it was Bull and me and I believe Mike Squires. And so anybody that did anything wrong at all, I don't care if they missed a belt loop, whatever it was, we wrote them up and we'd have a kangaroo court and we'd fine them.
I even got to find Jerry Reinsdorf one day, and you find him the boss. But I remember being down in the lobby and we wore shorts to the ballpark. Tony said just be comfortable, but on the road we had to dress. But Jerry came down from upstairs after a game one night and he sees me in the lobby in a pair of shorts on, and he makes a couple comments that I can't really repeat. I said, man, Jerry, that'll get you fined in the kangaroo court. He says, you know what, you're right. He says, I'll match the pot. I said, I don't know if you want to do that. He says, I'll match the pot. How much you got in there? I says, you really don't want to. What's your pot? I said, we have $1,500 in there right now. He says, okay, I'll match it. Next day we had the money. We had a pot of $3,000 to have a final party on the road, because we finished on the road that year, the last 2 weeks of the season. So we did it right.
It was those kind of things that we did as a ball club that got us close.
The chemistry not only existed between the players, but it carried over with the entire coaching staff. We all got along together. There was a lot of times when we were all hanging out together at one time or another, talking baseball, having some laughs and having a good time and so forth.
It just seemed like 25 guys were congregating at the same place, which is very, very big. You don't see that much in baseball anymore because of the nature of the game and the nature of the players today. But I think that's one of the things that's missing in baseball today.
We had great times at those parties and things that went on at the parties. You can't talk about here, but there was, a lot of times we did talk baseball, but we had some great times too. And that's kind of gelled everybody together. I never played with a team before or after that we ever did anything like that.
So the bottom line was, in those post games, it's like a graduate school in college, and I really believe that the untold story of that club was the reason we improved so much from about middle June to the end was that we kept talking baseball and learning from our mistakes. We didn't just make them and keep making them, and a lot of it happened having a lot of fun at a party.
In my opinion, it was one of the better coaching staffs that I've ever been around.
They were probably, and still are, some of the best in the business.
These were men that really knew the game, and they could make a difference in the game, and they put you in the game when they felt that you gave them and their team the best chance to win.
When you needed something, they were there. When things were going bad, they were there. When things were going good, they were there. If you didn't have an answer for something, they found an answer.
The ball go through, take a real short lead so that you don't get double on a line drive, but take a chance.
Now, one thing you got to do that I've kind of noticed that when his head looks toward home, he normally goes home. Okay, all right, that a boy.
I think you have to credit Tony for assembling people as good or better than himself.
Jimmy Leland was a third base coach and then handled the outfielders. Davey Nelson was the first base coach, and he handled the base running part of it. Dave Duncan, the pitching guy, he still has success at the major league level. Art Kushner's still in the bullpen to this day here with the White Sox. Charlie Lau was the batting guy. He's a legend. And myself, I handled the infield guys. So you put that kind of staff together, you know, in my opinion, you know, it was one of the better ones.
It was just a nucleus that you'll never find. Maybe it's somewhere else. I don't know where it's at, but I'll tell you, you'll never find it again. You can't. And that 1 year, I'll just never forget it. I've 35 years been in baseball. I don't think you'll ever find it again.
Both Charlie and the Lauren Babe were ill during that season, which both afflicted with cancer, and we knew we'd lose them at some point, but they held on as real troopers, helped us throughout the season and into the playoffs, and both of them passed away before the next spring. And I know that very much tremendously affected our club, and we went to the same club in '84 without those two gentlemen.
That would not have been the quote-quote baseball team that I've referred to without Kuzman and Luzinski.
They were the heart and soul probably of the team, you know, which led to the great chemistry that we had among our ball club. You really can't underestimate what those guys did. They were great players on the field, but what they did in the clubhouse, I think, was just as important as what they did on the field.
There's a deep drive left field. That's got a chance to go on the roof. It might even go out of here. Hold on the roof. The third one this year for the Bull, and nobody has ever done that before.
They seem to be very comforting, because a lot of times you have that fear of making a mistake, but they said, hey, don't worry about it. Everybody makes a mistake. It's just eliminating the fear of making a mistake. Just go out there and be yourself, and I think that carried through.
Got him, and the ball game is over.
In my opinion, Kuz was the real leader of that ball club. He was the guy who everybody looked to. He had experience, he had good ability, and he would protect his players.
Hi, Ma. You'll never meet a funnier guy, a happy-go-lucky guy. Will treat you just like you want to be treated yourself, and would do anything for you. But I think what he brought to us is he was already been on a winner and knew how to win. And one thing about Kuzman, he hates losing. By God, he hates losing. That whole team ended up hating losing.
He had the right things to say to the young players. He had the right things to say to the veterans. He knew when to go up and hug somebody. He knew when to go up and kick somebody right in the ass. You know, that's the kind of guy he was. Bull, virtually the same. Bull's got one of the best baseball minds you ever want to see. I would bet you right now, if you said, Bull, I was in Philadelphia in 1980, and I saw, you know, so-and-so pitching against you, and you hit a tremendous home run. Bull could tell you what pitch it was. If you put his mind in that setting, then he has like that total recall about baseball. And not many guys have that, especially today. I'll guarantee you there are a lot of guys that are going to say they've never had a better teammate than Jerry Kuzman or Greg Luzinski. So they were absolutely significant in the success of that 83 club. And I think if you go back now, you'll find out one of the big mistakes they made was letting Kuz get away.
Julio Cruz, great second baseman.
We acquired him from the Seattle Mariners for Tony Bernazard, another second baseman.
We had a nice second baseman, Tony Bernazard. I mean, he's a good player, but we needed an igniter.
Shot base hit. There's Brown to get on. Cruz gets faded down with the throw. Comes Cruz, they get a shot. Safe. Boone can't believe it. The ball game is over. Sox win it. 5-4, bottom of the 10th. Extra innings for the second night.
Juice gave him the electricity, and he was electrifying on the base paths, and he was doing the job. He had tremendous range at second base.
Just made things so easy for me as a shortstop playing with him. I think so much how he was so easy to turn the double play with, because he showed you the baseball so well and how quick he was at turning double plays.
I still remember seeing guys coming in trying to break up double plays, and him being able to, right from a standstill, jump completely over them as they're sliding. And I'm talking about like 4 feet in the air. He's jumping over the top of guys.
It seems that when he got there and started doing his thing, stealing bases and bunting for base hits and bringing a new dimension to the game for us, it just gave us a new look, and we took off from there.
You know, we had a lot of power in that club. But there are a lot of games where your power, maybe the wind's blowing in or the pitcher's good, and you need to manufacture. And having Julio and Rudy Law gave us a dimension to manufacture and actually scare some teams with our speed.
Rudy Law was just stealing bases by himself, and that was my game. And I happened to come in, and now we had two ammunition guys that just was going left and right, and we were able to take all the other teams and just tear them apart.
Here comes Law. Collision at home plate, and Law is safe. Cruz tags, and he'll come on to score with the 7-3 White Sox.
Julio was a very special part of that excitement, that explosion.
He played a great second base for us, had a great second half of the season offensively, stole bases.
Just a great middle infielder to play with.
We acquired Rudy Law the year before. I had seen him in the Pacific Coast League one game, and I remember his running speed stood out for me. He hit a ground ball to Kevin Bell, who was playing shallow because he was threat of a bunt. He bobbled it just for an instant, picked it up, and Law beat him out. So I said, I've got to get this guy. He gets on without getting hits.
Shortened up a little bit. Bouncer right side. There's Tolleson. Boots the ball. Law made the turn. And
a lot of times I batted behind him. He would lead off, and I would hit in the second spot. And wherever we hit in the lineup, he would go first, and then I would be there. He would bat first, get on base, and if I was batting third and he needed to steal a base, he'd give me a sign to let me know that he was going that pitch. And even if I had one strike on me, I would take it, knowing that he could steal a base, and then gave me an opportunity to either move him over or drive him in.
To me, that was the best year of my career. I remember when I played with the Dodgers, they never let me run on my own. As soon as I came over, Tony said, just go. Only thing I'll tell you when not to go. And that relaxes you as a player. That record is something special, and I hope it never gets broken. The way these guys run today, it probably won't. But that was a special year for everybody. And you know, it's amazing. I stole 77. I think I probably could have stole about 100 that year. But I got platooned a lot that year, too. So, you know, every chance that I got a chance to steal, I just, wanted to do something special to help the team win.
Rudy Law did everything. He covered my position, Ryan Kittle's position, and his position. He was a great center fielder. He was a great leadoff hitter, and more than that, he was a great person.
Right-hander to the belt. The pitch to Walker. Swung on a high drive to right field. Way back. It is gone. And the White Sox take a 6-3 lead on Walker's 4th home run of the year.
A lot of times with young players that are prospects, you either play every day or you go back to the minor leagues. And it was kind of a unique situation for me because I didn't get to play every day, but I was contributing. And Tony La Russa was a master at that time of getting everybody involved.
He really stressed the roles that each person had and being able to feel good about yourself when you were, doing the role that was assigned to you.
I look at it as a puzzle. I was a piece of that puzzle, and I was able to fit into it.
The veterans that we had on the team, Greg Luzinski, Jerry Guzman, Carlton Fisk, they taught us younger guys how to play the game right. I mean, it wasn't all about our personal stats. It was about whatever it takes to win the ball game that particular day.
There's a great quote out that says, miracles and great things can happen when people don't care who gets the credit. And I really believe that our guys felt that way. It didn't matter who got the credit, who got the game-winning hit. We all accepted our roles, and we're happy with those roles.
When you look back at it, everybody on the team contributed. It wasn't a one-man hero song. Every night there was a different winner or a different hero.
My role was to come off the bench late in the innings. My role was the spot start. Scotty Fletcher was playing real well. And so I'm thankful just for the opportunity to play. I really was. This was a great team to play for.
I think there are maybe too many Chiefs and not enough Indians maybe in some of the teams nowadays, and nobody wants to do the role playing. They want to be the star all the way. And that's probably understandable. I mean, I would have loved to have more playing time, but you do have to have enough players that will accept a role situation in order to be successful. And when you have that, then you can put that magic together.
You know what's so special about years like that, to me, isn't so much an individual moment. It's, for me, being a catcher, the relationship I had with that pitching staff was, it was unforgettable.
I think it was just great to see the different type of pitchers that we were. Lamar Hoyt, more sinker, excellent control, didn't walk people. Britt Burns, big, tall left-hander that just really hard, had an excellent splitter and a great slider. Richard Dotson, who could really battle, had an awesome changeup and could really spot his fastball. Then myself, more of a fastball, curveball type pitcher. So I think the change in the type, and then we had a great bullpen with guys that had great experience. And just to see that they threw all different type of styles, I think really complemented each other. And I think that's why we had a lot of success.
Should do it. Stegman calling. He's there. That'll do it. Lamar Hoyt becomes the first 15-game winner in the American League.
Lamar had what a fantastic year he had that year. I mean, he was good. He was really good. So was Banny. And the thing people don't remember, Dennis Lamp, he really helped because he was a spot starter. He went back and forth. And he pitched big for us. The same thing with Coos. Coos did the same thing. You know, could start, pitch out of the pen. And the guys could do that and not really complain about it, you know, and it was good. It was good. I mean, we just had a good group of guys.
Well, me and Richard pretty much would sit back. If I started a series before he did against somebody, or he started the series against somebody before I did, we'd go back with each other and literally go over each and every hitter on the other team's lineup and say, hey, he's looking for this, he's looking for that, you can get away with this, you can get away with that. And we kind of fed off each other. And then I think after we started rolling, everybody else kind of jumped on the bandwagon. And you know, there are hitters in this league that give away certain things, and when you get in this profession, you get this high up, it's, you know, if you know something, you kind of keep it under your hat for your own personal benefit. And fortunately, I think that season, halfway through, we all started sharing what we knew. And it just, you know, when you build the percentages in small increments at a time, it turns out to be a winning formula. And I think that that basically was the result at the end of the year.
Got him swinging. What a game by Dotson. Dotson with his third complete game of the year. The Sox make it 2-0.
We were 8 games in front when we left Kansas City in about the third or fourth week of August, and ended up winning the division by 20 games. So Hoyt, Dotson, and Bannister were 41-5 during the second half of the season as a unit. So that's quite a trio.
To see that success and way the pitchers experienced that success, I felt though I was part of it. And so it was almost mine and theirs, and to be a part of it, that's what was most special to me.
Playing for the home team, being at Comiskey Park, being a rookie, being the only White Sox member on the All-Star team, living locally 25 miles away. If I was a writer, I really wouldn't know what words to use to explain it. It was the best feeling I've ever seen in my entire life. Doug DeCences and a couple guys said it was the loudest ovation they've ever heard anybody's ever got at any All-Star game. And these are guys that have been in All-Star games their whole lives. I was more excited just in the awe of being with the rest of the guys because, you know, I love the game of sports. Here it is, a young kid was told never to walk again, nor do anything again, and playing an All-Star game locally in Chicago. I mean, you can't explain it.
I think we relish the winning ugly label, because as long as you have winning in front of something, that's a compliment.
I think it was originally coined by Rader in Texas, that it was kind of derogatory. Oh, these guys, they're not blowing anybody out. But you know what? That's the game of baseball. If you play it the right way and you advance runners and you make your outs be productive, you've got a chance to win. And so I think that was kind of a rallying cry for us, because we knew that we could score runs without any hits.
We went out and played and laid it on the line every day, and we weren't concerned about whether we won it pretty or how we did it. We just took a lot of pride in trying to go out and figure out how to get it done.
Some games we did win ugly, but I think it was mostly, when we played the Texas Rangers, we just found a way to win the ball game. I mean, that's what it came down to. We never gave up, and some of the games were real ugly, but when you never give up, you always have a chance to win.
There's a deep drive to center field. It's got a chance. Coots going back to the wall, leaps, and he makes the catch. No, he lost the glove of the ball. A home run for Lazinski. He had the ball in his glove. I know he did, but he don't have it now. Boone got a hold of that one dead straight away.
We had won a lot of games that year that they weren't artistically beautiful. They weren't always a well-pitched game. They were close games. Sometimes the other team would throw the ball away and we'd win, and so that's what Rader was talking about. He said we were winning ugly. But once we got going, we weren't winning ugly. We were blowing everybody away.
Smash, there, down the left field line. This scores the tying run. Here comes the lead run, Baines. They're waving in the ball. Here he comes. Throw to the plate. He is safe. At third base is Pachorik. 3 runs are in, and the Sox take a 4-2 lead.
You need a little phrase to drive here, a little logo or a little something, because that makes everything you do magnified even more. So we thank Doug Rader for that little mention that day, and we wrote it right till the end.
All we need is 1 hit and 1 run, Lauren. You got that right.
And the Mariners are going to pull their infield in. The outfield is playing shallow. Here's the pitch to Baines. Swinging a fly ball. This will be it. Center fielder's got it. Cruz is tagged. Here's the throw. Not in time. Stop win.
The White Sox have won the 1983 American League Western Division.
The night we clinched at Old Comiskey Park, I just remember the flood of emotion.
That was a feeling I'd never expected.
I think it was the fastest I've ever sprinted out of the bullpen.
Still see Juice jumping up in the air, hitting home plate, Bainesy turning at first base, knowing, hey, no matter what we do now, we're in the playoffs no matter what.
It's like when he hit home plate, the whole place erupted. I mean, and it erupted for me, from my feet all the way to the top of my head. It was just excitement out there.
When I hit home plate, I was happy, and then when I went into the dugout and everybody was celebrating, I stepped out to the side and reflected, gosh, I scored against my old team, and those guys are going home in last place. The season's over for them, and I felt for them because I was with them for 6 years. But then I also was happy in the fact that I was going into playoffs to experience something that I've never experienced before.
See everybody out on the field and then just hugging and jumping on piles and stuff. It was just a phenomenal experience. I had never experienced that before.
I guess it's one of those things like the birth of a child. You can't really explain it until you've experienced it.
I think a lot of people experienced joy, but there was a sense of relief in that we've proven what it takes to win ball games.
of the winning run with Jimmy Leland right behind me.
All right, here we go. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we?
Spring training, I knew we had a catalyst of a great team, and everybody was just goofy enough to win it all, and here we are. It's nice. It's really nice. It's nice to win the game the way we did. We came back again, and you can't say enough about the guys on this team.
This is the greatest team effort I've ever seen. Greatest bunch of guys, working totally, everybody pulling together, nobody having a great year, but everybody doing the job when they had to. Greatest feeling in the world.
Our pitching staff kept us in the game all night tonight, and then our offense finally took over and scored them a run when we needed it. But our pitching staff's been there for 2.5 months, so we are where we are because our pitching staff is what they are.
Well, I don't know. I think everybody's enjoying themselves, but I've been in this organization for 10 years, and this is the best I've ever felt. It's an easy club to manage, to be honest. All they would do is want to come out and play. For anybody that says it was not an emotional or excited ball club, just listen to this clubhouse.
I waited for the players to have their celebration in the clubhouse and went in later, and Tony La Russa said it finally quieted down, and then when I came in, it erupted again, and it was one of the great moments of my career, and they lifted me up and just about drowned me with liquids, champagne and beer. So it's a moment that you never forget because it doesn't happen very often in a lifetime, and especially with the type of club we had.
Me and Harold, we didn't drink, so we had Sprite, and we were shaking that up and spraying each other with that, and we had a great time, and we participated in the celebration. But then after all that went down, we all sat around and we talked about the season and praised everyone in that room. And that's something that I really remember and I treasure.
Back then, I was so young, I didn't take it all in the way I should. But, when you see all the old videos and guys start reminiscing about it, it was a great feeling.
It's one of the greatest days we've ever lived.
Up to that time, both clubs, the Sox and the Cubs, have been languishing in nothing, so to speak, as far as the standings go. And then when we won in '83, the Cubs won in '84. And that's what happens in a two-team city, is that if one does well, it's absolutely imperative that the other improve their club. So the residual effects for the city were immense.
It was only our third year owning the White Sox, and all of a sudden we're challenging for the title, and all of a sudden we're the title winner in a town that they hadn't been used to winning in any sport. So it became special for the fans, and I only got into that when I saw how it could become so important.
This city is a great city. I think these are the best fans of baseball because they know how to have a good time. I remember when I first got here, I said something negative about the fans of Chicago, and they kind of booed me a little bit, but you're the greatest.
Other championships have been won since the White Sox in '83, and the White Sox didn't even get to the World Series that year, but winning that division championship really had this city electrified because it had been so long. And so it really was a shock, I think, to the whole city of Chicago that a Chicago team could actually win a division championship.
And now, fans, please direct your attention to the roof in right center field, where Assistant General Manager David Dombrowski and senior member 10-year veteran number 25 Mike Squires will hoist the Western Division Championship flag over Comiskey Park.
Well, first thing I thought was, He's trying to get me to get blown off that thing. You know, he doesn't want to have to use me, but it was kidding. But he did that because I had the longest tenure as a player in the organization. And Tony says I was his favorite player, and I don't know why he feels that way, but he says it to this day. So it's a great honor for me going up there and hoisting the flag. You know, and you could just see everybody was standing and going nuts. I mean, that was something that hadn't happened in a long time around here, and it was a great day all around too. We came back and won also, so that helped.
When we won the division in '83, it was only our third year in the game. We thought we had it all figured out. And then it turned out we didn't win again until 1993 and then 2000. But even then, we haven't gotten past the first round in any of those years.
Well, we didn't get into baseball to lose. We expected to win. And once we did win, we expected to win more. And we've been very disappointed that we haven't won more. But it's just brought out to us how hard it is to get that mixture of players and coaches and organization that can win and be up there on a constant basis.
We thought we were going to do it every year. You know, we thought we had a good enough young nucleus that would be back there again next year, and it just didn't work out. But what a year.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out the most over the years is what happened the next day. We were on the field. Again, it was a 40,000 plus crowd. All the players were introduced. Eddie and I were introduced, and everybody was cheering. And I stood next to Jerry Koosman, and Jerry said, "Enjoy the moment. They're few and far between." Little did I know it was going to be another 10 years. And little did I know that 23 years into the game, we still haven't been to the World Series.
I had a lot of close relationships with the Oriole players. The person that represented me was from Baltimore, and they had probably 20 out of the 25 Oriole players, so I knew them off the field as well as on. But from talking to them, talking to everybody involved, we both knew that whoever won that series was going to win the World Series, because Philadelphia, to us, both of us were over the hill and could be taken advantage of. And so it was like, you know, whoever gets up there, get those first 3 wins, good luck. And I was determined to get the first one.
Back to Hoyt through his legs. Pritchard has it. He steps on the bag, and the ball game is over. And indeed, the Sox come out as they go over and they congratulate Hoyt. There is sheer chaos down in the Sox lower boxes.
Bannister, 28 years old, 6'1", 195.
You know, I think with Mike Boddicker, the way he was throwing that breaking ball the second game, you know, wasn't very many people going to hit him, unfortunately, but he turned in one of the better performances of the year to kind of turn the tide their way.
Strikeout number 9.
I think the whole difference in the series, and people don't remember this, was the bases loaded ball that Cruz hit down the left field line in the second game.
Cruz gets a piece of it, and it is a foul ball by inches.
I still say to this day it dusted the chalk because I was standing on third. That turns that game completely around, and we win that game. We come out of Baltimore with a 2-0 lead. You know, obviously they called it foul, but that was probably one of the biggest plays of the series.
That is an awfully close one.
It was a strange night, that third night. It seemed like the fans were just kind of waiting for something to happen that never really happened.
Hit hard, but fielded by Dower. They'll turn 2 with Ripken getting it to Murray. Here's the 2-1. Lofted to left. It's very deep. Lowenstein back and has just enough room. Got him. Kittle is hit by the pitch.
Right on the knee.
Kittle got hit with a breaking ball and didn't play the next day, and then we hit Ripken, and that sort of woke Baltimore up, and they kicked our butts that night.
The 2-0, who is hitless in the series, launches one into right center field. The runner tags. Here's the catch and throw by Baines. Close, but Renicky scores standing up. Flanagan is the winner, Dotson is the loser, and the Orioles lead it 2-1.
I thought we were at least as good, if not better, than Baltimore. You know, we won that first game. Lamar pitched a great game, and Boddicker was very good in the second game for the Orioles, but and they beat us pretty badly in the third game. But we regrouped and we outplayed them in the fourth game. Unfortunately, Britt Burns pitched the greatest pressure game I've seen in my life, but we couldn't score any runs for him.
Base hit left field. Law's got to hurry. They're going to hold him up. No! Dubzinski runs into an out. Now they go back to second base. They've got there. Here comes a runner to the plate. And they get him. So Dubzinski runs right into an out. And they throw the runner out at the plate. So the Sox with an excellent opportunity, slipping right through their fingers. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and a scoreless tie. The all-important run 90 feet away, and Jerry Dubzinski. Julio Cruz standing at second. The Sox in a must-win situation. Baltimore on top in the series, 2-1. The Sox trying to even it here this afternoon. So the side is retired. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. In the series, to go along with the 1 RBI, Ripken has had a couple of doubles. Got him swinging. Got him. Got him looking.
For me personally, it was an opportunity to get the chance to perform in that situation, in that environment, with the pressure, with the season on the line, and to find out that I was capable of performing in that situation. Even though it ended up being an L on the statistical side of things, morally it was a victory for me. I've always felt good about how I performed that day, and take a lot of satisfaction to this day that I gave our ball club a chance to win that game, and did everything that I could do.
And what a job that young left-hander has done.
Looking back, I wish we had a 7-game series. I think we had an excellent ball club and an excellent chance of winning in a 7-game series. Unfortunately, it was 5-game, and we just had a couple bumps in the road where we just couldn't score some runs.
And then when Tito Landrum hit that dramatic home run, we really felt like, golly, we should have won that thing, because we had Lamar pitching the 5th game, which would have decided it. And Baltimore went on and won the World Series that year over a very good Philadelphia team. So we really felt like that could have and actually should have been us.
And that was very disheartening. We hadn't counted on stopping playing, and we kind of all looked around like, season's over.
That's just something you go back to and saying, what happened? But you know, if you're a baseball person, you know what happened.
Just ended up not quite finishing it off, which is a regret, but probably the most special team that didn't win the World Series in the history of baseball.
lot of people have really vivid memories of that year and our team, but to get back together here after all these years, it's just been incredible.
It's the best thing that happened since sliced bread as far as the 83 team is concerned. I mean, we haven't seen these guys for like 20 years.
It's been since '93 since I've seen a lot of the guys. And we were mentioning, it seems like yesterday. Well, 20 years ago seems like yesterday also.
You know, we're 20 years older, and we're doing the things we did 20 years ago, with the exception of maybe a few things. But it's a riot. I really haven't had this much fun in a long time.
There's something about baseball. It's like you're always a big kid. And now we're a lot older now, it seems like. But it's nice to see everyone, see how everyone's doing.
It's amazing the friendships that, you know, we renew since we've been back here for this weekend. It's just, you know, it's like we never left.
It's like the conversation was on Friday at work and you went back to work Monday and you picked up the same conversation again. It's just like you never left. I mean, it seems like we were best friends, very close-knit group of people, teammates, but they were family and friends, and I think that's the important thing.
I've kept in touch with a lot of these guys for a lot of years, but I've missed some of them. I hadn't got to see some of them, and it's just so great to see them, not only them, but their wives, their kids, and just catch up on where they are in their lives.
I personally have a couple of children that weren't thought of yet, so for them to be able to come back and see what Dad used to do and just to get some kind of feel for what it might have been like and be able to share that with them is very special.
I don't think you have enough time on your camera there, enough battery for me to tell you the feeling, but to look at the guys brings back a lot of memories. Reliving my youth, disregarding how old I am now. It's such a great thrill.
It's an honor to come back here and really thank the organization. They've just been treating us great and getting everybody back. And I really felt like we would never miss a beat because we had such a camaraderie with one another and you know, I know it's an often used word, chemistry, but there really was.
You know, it's just great to know that when you played 20 years ago, granted you had great success on the field, but you know, you made lasting friendships. That's what was fun. And it's great to remember those times together, good times when we won.
After 20 years, we were picking up conversations and experiences, reminiscences that we had that, you know, it's like no time passed. And that's what true friends do.
It's just that bond that the players have when you've been through something like that. It's incredible. And it stays with you forever.
I was here for 2 years and a month. And it was, I have to honestly say, it was the most fun I ever had in Major League Baseball.
I think when you look back in all the years I played 16 years, and a lot of guys played more, a lot of guys played less. It's when you have that opportunity to know, I can't wait to get to the ballpark. That's a great feeling. And that's the way it was in '83.
It doesn't matter what level you're at, you know, to be able to have the chemistry and to win is fun.
No matter what you did that year, it was part of a whole, and everyone realized that. And I think that you know, that was part of the magic of that year.
I think everybody in that group really felt a great sense of team. And it was one for all and all for one. There was little arguments, little discrepancies during the season. Everybody has that. When it came down to playing the game, we played hard before, during, and after the game, and there was a great camaraderie where everybody was cheering for one another, and I think that's very, very important to winning.
It was a very special year for me. I felt like I contributed. I think I did, and I got so much valuable experience of being around these veterans, and it made my career.
Everyone made me feel at home here in the White Sox organization, and I really needed that. It's always good when you're not doing well that people help you. It's when you're doing well, anyone can be your friend. It seemed like they were always my friend, even in the toughest times, which I think is most important.
There was such a bond also with the front office and the ball club and with the ownership, so it was a case that there was organization throughout.
And that's how strong the ties that you have is the camaraderie that you hopefully you'll never lose, and all the fun and the excitement and the stories and things of that nature. And I was wondering where are we going tomorrow, but in a couple minutes tomorrow it's going to be we'll part our ways and hopefully we get to see each other a lot sooner than 20 years.
It was the culmination of a lot of hard work, culmination of a tremendous, as we've already mentioned, chemistry and camaraderie, and as well as talent. It's for most of us guys the only time we've ever experienced that. So it's one of the greatest events of our entire lifetime.
It was my first full season at the major league level then, and you don't realize how special it is. You think you're going to get there every year, winning your division, getting to the playoffs, and it didn't happen. That was the only year that I was able to make it to the playoffs.
There's a very special feeling when you win, and the group camaraderie and the feeling that you get in the clubhouse because of the time that you spend together and the hard work and the common goal that you have. When that all comes together in a championship, there's a special feeling that develops, and that feeling never leaves.
It's one of those feelings that it's hard to explain because of how slow we got. I mean, we didn't really start playing well until June, and to get that far and win it by that much, it was extremely satisfying.
It was just one of those things that clicked and happened, and it might not happen again in anybody's lifetime, but it happened to us.
There's nothing like your first time, and that was a wonderful thrill. And as I say, when you look back, and then the next year went by and you didn't win, and the next year went by and you didn't win, and the next decade went by and you didn't win, then it made you appreciate it even more.
There's a word in Yiddish, it's kvel, and it's sort of kvelling. You're kvelling when you have that feeling where your chest swells up, and when you watch your kids do something good, and just watching these guys enjoy themselves and watching them in 83 on the field, it was just a matter of pride. I just felt like a parent.
I think the combination of the great feelings and obviously the success, 83 it's number one.
One of the biggest regrets that I have is that I didn't quite find a way to get into the series those 4 games. I kind of spent the whole time watching the series, and I think if I had anything to do over again, I might sit a little closer to Tony or something, and say, "Anyway, is it time yet?" Every time Julio got a hit, he ordered another 12 dozen bats, so he had about 40 dozen bats sitting by his locker that year. So. I was the second one to throw it out of 250 guys, and they signed me to a contract. Gave me $500, a book on how to speak hillbilly, and a pair of shorts. That was my signing bonus. I went to Painesville, Kentucky.
That sting must feel great though in the eyes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels good. It's the best kind of hurt you've ever had.
It's like winning ugly. It hurts here. That's not winning ugly.
I always kid Pachorik that he was probably the main reason for winning ugly because of some of the ugly hits that he had.
They didn't stay in shape. I stayed in good shape over all these years, and these guys let me down.
They let themselves get out of shape, but I'm going to have a good talk with them, and we're going to get them back together. But no, all serious, you can't beat this.
I hit my 300th home run with the White Sox. It went to center field. I think it was off Larry Gurr on a 3-0 pitch. And first of all, fireworks went off, and we didn't know if we could continue the game. Second of all, Coots throws the ball in the stands to some woman up there, and then he looks at the scoreboard and finds out it's my 300th home run, and now he's got to chase her. He's trying to get the guards to chase her down, get the ball back. That's my good buddy.
Dennis Lamp is insane. He did the greatest impressions of all the guys on the team. That is amazing. And he just did it where you knew what guy he was doing, and it was just so much fun. And we'd get him to do, a couple guys a day, and that really loosened up the clubhouse, regardless of what the circumstances were during the course of the season.
He was my roommate for 3 years, 81, 82, and 83. And it's amazing because this is the first time I've been at home at the Hyatt for, it's been over 12 years. And I get a wake-up call in the morning, and guess who it is? Dennis Lamp. I'm going, wait a minute, you're not my roommate no more. Hey, heck, how you doing? What are we going to do today? I go, nothing. I'm going back to bed. Goodbye.
Lamar. Who else? I know everybody else. We had Kevin Hickey. Strikes the guy out. He's following the ball around the infield. Let's do Carl Yastrzemski. Carl Yastrzemski used to go. Then he used to have Gaylord Perry. Gaylord be on the mound. And they had Winfield, Jay Winfield. Remember Winfield? Then they used to have Dave Parker. Dave Parker.
Christian.
Get a home run.
He lives right down the block.
Who else? Who else am I thinking of? P. Rose. P. Rose. Pete, get in the box. First pitch. Watch the ball go back, right?
There you go.
Remember, you always see that. Kemp. He's in the outfield.
Steve Kemp.
I got to tell you a story. Baltimore, Steve Kemp goes for the ball, hits right here. So Tony has to take Brett out. So Brett comes in the clubhouse in Baltimore, and Tony is taking the pitch route. He's mad. He goes in the clubhouse. Then he comes back and he asks us, "Hey, you guys, should Kemp have had that ball?" We said, "Yeah." He says, "I thought so." So Tony comes back in the dugout and says, "Where's Brett? He's got to stay out here while that pitcher's out on the mound." So here's Brett. He comes out and he goes, "Hey, Brett, you got to stay out here for your teammates." He says, "If you don't stay out here, it's going to cost you a paycheck." And at that time, it was the 15th. We were on the road. He says, "Wait a minute, I'll go get it." I think anything else. Reggie Jackson, Reggie.
I knew 7.
Get in the box. It's like this. Different. Then Ron Kittle, he'd say something like, "Man, Wade's going out with Bull and I hitting the ball on the roof. Every time he hit a home run, fans are throwing it back." Now, Kitty was.
I remember throwing football up in my mother's yard when I was a kid, and you hear this big roar, you catch the ball, you make the final catch, score a touchdown, that sort of thing, or you hit the home run that wins the game. But I remember pitching here in the old Comiskey Park. In September, the Orioles had come to town. I think we had a 10-game advantage in a 4-game series. And when we came in, they said this is where they usually turn the tide, take over, catch up with us, take over the division lead, win it, and we end up getting busted again. But anyway, I made the statement, and I guess I may have popped off a little loud about the fact that, I didn't think they were doing that well that year. They were having a lot of controversy on and off the field. And I said, no, they're not going to beat me, and I got the first game. So, I'm going to set the tone. And I remember shutting them out on 3 hits, and in the top of the 8th inning, I come out to start, and I remember throwing some warm-up pitches, and it's like I kept feeling this vibration, and as a pitcher, you don't concentrate on the fans. All I ever really saw was the 2 knees of the catcher, in, out, and that's what I went for. But I remember standing there and throwing my warm-up pitches, and it's like something kept knocking me back off the mound. And I looked around the stadium for the first time, and it's like everybody was standing on their feet, and they were all going, "Love Mar, love Mar." And I remember thinking at the time, I said, so this is what I heard when I was a kid.
Vivid memory, I would have to say, probably is just back. I remember in September coming to the ballpark and just seeing how many people are in the stands. September was phenomenal because we knew we were in the hunt. We had a great lead in the standings, and just to hear the booming noise in the stadium. I mean, it was so funny because every time we come back from a road trip, we talked to the guys that worked at the stadium. They said we had to put more bricks back in the back of the right field area because of all the banging and the foot stomping and the noise that they made. Some of the bricks were starting to fall out of the walls and stuff. So I mean, the amount of noise and the intensity in the game was unbelievable. That's something I'll always remember. The fans were just so much into it. It was a great experience.
One game we had a 4 or 5 hour rain delay behind 4-2, and they waited and waited and waited. We thought the game was over. Finally it stopped, and we went back out on the field. We scored 3 quick ones and won 5-4. It was against the Angels. We thought that was going to be in the L column, and we came back and won it. So that's kind of year it was for us. Everything went well for us.
I brought an extra suit just in case if we'd clinch it, but they didn't tell me what they were going to do with the suit. I thought it was going to be clean and presented to me, and instead they put it in a glass case outside what we call the barge room, and it hung there for a long time until I got a job with the Baltimore Orioles and joined them for the season of 1988, and we lost our first 21 games. So Eddie Einhorn called me when we were playing in Minnesota because he wanted me to wear the suit before we arrived in Chicago. So he figured it was my lucky suit, and he'd rather see us win our first game against the Twins rather than doing it against the White Sox. I said, well, you have to hurry, Eddie, because the game's at noon tomorrow. He sent it Federal Express, but it didn't arrive till about the 7th or 8th inning of the game. So the clubhouse man knew where to find me. I came in, put on the suit, and I thought, boy, the suit might be working because we were trailing 4-2 in the ninth inning. Our leadoff man got a base hit, Carl Nichols, but then a double play and a pop fly, and we'd lost another game. Well, I didn't want to give up the suit when I arrived in Chicago, so I wore it to the ballpark and sat next to our dugout, the Orioles dugout. And we proceeded to win 9-0. And there was a gentleman behind me with a large cup of beer that he had been holding. And after the final out, he says, "How about it, Roland?" I says, "Go ahead." So he drenched me with the beer. But I had to give the suit back to Eddie for the last 2 games, and we lost the next 2. So we went home to Baltimore with a record of 1-23. But much to my surprise, although there had been talk that there was a disc jockey who had been fasting for about 12 days. He wasn't going to eat until we would win a game. And it's a good thing that we had won in Chicago because he was in deep trouble. And we arrived there, and they had 50,402 fans that day at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore to greet the club. And I've often said that was the greatest sign of club fan loyalty to a club that anyone could ever expect.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Give these guys, I want you to just listen, give them just a clinic on the pivot around.
The pivot.
The pivot.
It's real simple. If the ball, if the shortstop's underhanding the ball, you go across. If he's overhanding the ball, you stay back. The reason you stay back is because the ball, the velocity is coming in so fast that if you go to get it,
it can handcuff you.
It can handcuff you. So I was taught to just go there and be ready with my left foot. And then wherever the ball went, I took my feet to it.
Yeah, just like a dancer. Boom here, just really nice. He was very good at it.
No, and you know what? If it's underhanding, I catch the ball out here sometimes. I catch it, I tag the bag, but I'm not catching the ball and tagging the bag. I'm out in front. Then I catch it. If you do it so quickly,
the umpires will never call.
It's called in the neighborhood.
Yeah, in the neighborhood. Yeah.
That's great.
That's right. And if you do it, but if you did in the neighborhood and you kind of chop a little, then they can call you off the base.
And that is into shallow center. It should score the run. Cruz tags. Here's the catch. Here comes a throw. Here comes Cruz. Sox grab the golden ring. The Chicago White Sox, the 1983 Western champions in the American League. And you think there aren't some happy people on the field. All right. Carol Bain with the game-winning RBI. The White Sox win it 4-3. Pandemonium here at Comiskey Park. The fireworks are off. The fans on the field. The Sox all making their way to the dugout. Julio Cruz scored the winning run with Jimmy Leland right behind him.
Mid-season and giving such an immediate spark and a lift to the bullpen. Infielder Greg Walker. Enough said about Mr. Walker. Had a good spring, got off to a slow start, was worked nicely by Tony La Russa and contributed. Ron Kittle. And the big man from Garrett. Pitcher Guy Hoffman. Guy being called up from Denver, been in a couple of ball games. Pitcher Salome Barrojas. Salome leading the Sox staff in saves. Infielder Chris Nyman. Like to have had all the travel expenses for Chris this year. And the man has done it with the leather at third. Pitcher Kevin Hickey. Boy, you should have seen Kev down in that clubhouse last night. Was he having a ball? Outfielder Rudy Law. Infielder Jerry Dibzinski. Pitcher Rick Burns. Pitcher Richard Dotson. Warming up in the bullpen. Pitcher Lamar Hoyt. The big man rolls out. Infielder Scott Fletcher. Outfielder Dave Stegman. Outfielder Harold Baines. Infielder Julio Cruz. Pitcher Floyd Bannister. Pitcher Dennis Lamp. Pitcher Jim Kern. Catcher Mark Hill. Pitcher Randy Neiman. Infielder Tom Pachoy. Pitcher Dick Pedro. Designated hitter Greg Luzinski. Infielder, Aurelio Rodriguez. Pitcher, Jerry Kuzman. And the manager of the 1983 American League Western Division champions, Tony La Russa. Well, there you see capacity crowd once again here at Comiskey Park, and you saw the emotions of the Bull, Greg Luzinski, Carl Fifth, General Manager, and Tony La Russa. Roland Heeman. And here's the man that the players, everybody, not just the players, everybody loves Roland. Introducing the chairman of the board and the president of the White Sox, the Sunshine Boys, Jerry Reinsdorf and Eddie Einhorn. Ago, they said they were going to do it, and there they are. The biggest hot dog in Chicago, right there. And now, fans, please direct your attention to the roof in right center field, where Assistant General Manager David Dombrowski and senior member 10-year veteran number 25 Mike Squires will hoist the Western Division Championship flag over Comiskey Park. That flag out in right center field atop the roof says it all. 1983 Western Division champions, and what a season it has been.